empty and unguided, a blind leading chase. Thought I had a plan with you and me. Was a daring of my own dream, breaking me down to my knees. I look right at the mirror, wondering if I'll be okay. My head is telling me nothing, it's got nothing left to say. And I was like, oh, 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 oh. You were like, no, oh, no, oh. I was like, oh, 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 oh. You were like, no, oh, no, oh. Come on, let's rewind till I smile. That look upon your face. My heart is empty and unguided, a blind leading chase. Thought I had a plan with you and me. Was the daring of my own dream, breaking me down to my knees.
Hello and welcome to Blue Springs High School Varsity Overwatch versus Francis Howell Central. We are currently on Arctic Peninsula, and I will be your host today, Remy Does Things. It looks like we are going in with a Junker Queen based team, with Tiltman as Junker Queen and Symmetra, Kiriko, Lucio, and Genji. Our goal will be capturing the objective, and we're immediately going in pretty quickly to see some action straight ahead. It turns out we don't have a Symmetra. I don't know how we did the teleport. Either way, we do have a 76 from the looks of it. Right away with some action around the objective, with Tiltman and Sauce being around to capture along with KC Vet. With Blue Springs in the control of the objective, they do have the advantage to start this all off. Right away, they do see Reinhardt, which they were calling out to be prepared. We see that enemy team has a Symmetra, which tried to get our supports from behind, which can be vital against Blue Springs, especially since no one was prepared for that. It looks like we do have Genji drawing back, as now Francis Howell with control of the point. This mouse is as we are moving closer, we are reaching the objective once again in attempts to get it back from Francis Howell. We see Genji going in for a side attack behind the tank to counter the supports, but unfortunately was not able to do so in time. Sauce temporarily being on the point, but without any supports or teammates to back him up, that was a recipe for disaster.
If I'm still standing, I'm still fighting.
We see that our Lucio is in fact aiding our movement speed to attempt to push in a little harder. There's consistent heavy fire going on with the point being contested, but Blue Springs is quickly gaining control over it, but unfortunately that is another wipeout on Blue Springs' end, leading this closer and closer to a victory for Francis Howell. We are moving in once again, with instead of Junker Queen now having Roadhog. Not Roadhog. Roadhog is under ban currently. Sorry, Reinhardt. Alright. We are going in with a Dragon Blade mixed with Kitsune Rush from Huntsman and KC Ved. I was not commenting on that fast enough. My bad, everyone. But we are still getting control of the objective right when Francis Howell had 99%, not 99, 91%. I am everywhere today. You're moving in quickly to Francis Howell trying to attack through the side. Reinhardt versus Reinhardt, with a Reaper coming up from behind to take down the Reinhardt. Blue Springs is managing to be a little bit more comfortable with what they are doing at the current moment and keeping control over the point better than they were earlier. Looks like we have Shatter ready from Reinhardt. Almost halfway there for Kitsune Gate. Not really close for Sound Barrier. About halfway for Dragon Blade, and almost there for a Death Blossom, which is useful in clearing out the point. Glad I caught that. Blue Springs managing to come in at the clutch to clear out the point and get the first objective.
Score 1-0.
Blue Springs has been working pretty hard to be on the best of their game to be able to go to state this year, especially after how difficult South was last Friday. They are ready for whatever comes next. It looks like we have a similar team to the end of last round with Lucio, Kiriko. Oh, Symmetra. So we swapped from Genji, Reaper, and Reinhardt. Already, we're coming in heavy with the action. Oh, instead of Kiriko, we now have Baptiste. We have our Lucio amping the healing boost, which should be helpful alongside Baptiste's immortality field. With the point being open, Blue Springs is contested at the point. With Toasted Oreo doing their best to stay alive. Unfortunately, Francis Howell managed to gain control of the point. Oh, is that a Farah? And Mercy! Oh, nice! It looks like we do have Huntsman trying to gain a sky advantage for the fight. Meanwhile, our Reinhardt is basically fighting around corner with the enemy Reinhardt and their support. Unfortunately, Junkrat coming in and getting some control over that corner situation, which is a deadly place to be in with a character such as Junkrat. I believe Blue Springs is discussing how to push through this situation. Huntsman again taking advantage of the height, and especially right when the Symmetra's turrets got cleared out, that is a very, very well timed. Although Huntsman is backed into a corner pushing in on his own. I do hear a Mercy ult, and with a rocket barrage to clear out the point, Blue Springs has managed to gain control of the objective with 83% on Francis Howell's side. Honestly, having Farah on this map does not seem like a bad idea. It allows for easy height and easy visual to recognize and counter the enemy team. We do have a Death Blossom coming in, especially in this tight corner. It was not a good spot for Francis Howell to be in. All right. Blue Springs is keeping themselves at the ready for when Francis Howell shows up again at any moment. They're choosing to go in through some low ground, farther away from what Blue Springs was originally anticipating. It is proving difficult for Blue Springs to clear out the point once again, as Francis Howell has taken over the point and once again gained control of the objective. We are... Oh. Hold on, who is on the point? Oh, it's Toasted Oreo. I didn't catch that. I feel so bad. We are coming in with people continuously trying to keep themselves on the point, but also it is not proving to be very useful against the enemy Bastion, as overtime has basically ran out, with it being 1-1 for Francis Howell and Blue Springs.
Score 1-1.
This next round will decide who gets the first map point. And I'm hoping it's Blue Springs. That way I only have to showcase 3 maps this round. It looks like we have an Orisa, I believe that's Sojourn. I know. Oh, May. Okay, so we have Orisa, May, Baptiste, and I heard a Reaper, but he could have changed.
You're out of chances. This ends here.
Already we're leading in with a lot of action. We've, oh, we have Cassidy instead of a Reaper this time. Oh, it is a lot of active fighting one-on-one. With Toasted Oreo attempting to stay on the point and out of reach of damage, they're doing a pretty good job at keeping that point contested and gaining quick control over it. The point now being given to Blue Springs. Let's just hope it stays with them. right away we see Sauce having spotted the enemy team, and everyone else planning to take them from the sides, as Sauce is attempting to basically flank them. Although a Cassidy going one-on-one with a Bastion does not sound like entirely the best idea. Our Mei has casted their ult, but I do not believe it has affected most of the enemy team. With Francis now getting on the objective, it is now Blue Spring's goal to keep things moving with a Deadeye ready for our Cassidy. Everyone is pushing the enemy Reinhardt back as Huntsman chooses to stay on point. An enemy Bastion ult coming in to take out our tank. But we are going in from behind with an Immortality Field. Unfortunately, we were met with a Riptire. With Francis now getting control of the point, it is up to Blue Springs to take it back to finish up that 15% needed to win the map. Leading in right away with head-on-head conflict from Tiltman and the enemy team, trying to push some way in for Blue Springs to get to that objective and get control of it. I do hear a Cassidy Deadeye, which was very effective on getting out the enemy Bastion, along with Mei's ultimate to take out some of Francis Howell as well. Mei is prepping for a wall at any moment. Looks like we have Wrecking Ball on Francis Howell's side. But Blue Springs is currently on overtime with a Lucio ult to provide that extra vitality. As long as they can keep that enemy, the enemy off the objective and keep things moving for them, Blue Springs will be able to burn out that overtime pretty quickly. With that, Blue Springs has officially won this first map.
Play of the game.
Huntsman Asfar, that was a good choice earlier on the second objective. Although they did not win that objective, having that character was very useful in keeping control over those tight areas. All right, hold on, we'll see you in a second. Hello and welcome back. We are on map 2 of 5. This is King's Row. Why am I seeing Torbjorn? We got Torbjorn Bastion, Reinhardt,
Have you all seen what this
Baptiste
guy can
and
do?
Mercy. We are on the defense of a hybrid map. So Francis Howell's goal to not only gain control of the point, but escort the payload to its final destination. After Howell gets a turn to attempt this, it will be Blue Spring's turn to not only either get control of the point, or move the payload farther than Francis Howell did.
Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
They're moving in right away. With Blue Springs keeping control of the point, it seems Francis Howell used Symmetra to gain some high ground advantage. Currently, Blue Springs is backed into a partial corner as Francis Howell gets closer to the objective. It is honestly really hard to get a good angle of the action that's going on. I believe the best person to look at this from would be... Oh, I am not in first person perspective. My bad, everyone. Anyways. Francis Howell is getting control of the objective and soon will be able to escort the payload if Blue Springs cannot clear them out. A Bastion ult from our side, hopefully in attempt to clear out the goal, but it was not successful. Francis Howell now having control over the payload and beginning to move it.
Healthy body, healthy mind.
I am curious with the choice of Torbjorn in this map. We don't often see Torbjorn in these games, let alone on well, honestly I could see why you would put him on defense, but when it comes to a hybrid map like this, I'm not sure if that was really the best idea, especially since I have not seen Huntsman play Torbjorn all that often. We do have a lot of action quickly going on with a good chunk of Blue Springs getting wiped out pretty quickly, but Blue Springs responds with just as much vigor, getting control of the payload and being able to now start escorting it back. My main idea for why Torbjorn would be here is for Huntsman to place the turret on top of the payload, but it does not seem that he's doing that, or his skill might just be on cooldown. Right away, we do have a lot of action going on, with Molten Core being placed down to basically act as a not-so-welcoming welcome mat. That burning damage is going to prove to be a problem for Francis Howell, especially when it's over a longer period of time. Currently, we are left to the supports here on the payload, which is not exactly a thing you want to see. With the supports being wiped out, it is now their job to be prepared at the final destination, since it seems as if Francis Howell is going to be reaching that second objective.
The checkpoint.
Well, second checkpoint. Oh, we have May now. Okay. Hold on, we have a pause. We'll see you guys in a second. And we are back. Sorry, everyone. Already going in with a Bastion ult on our side, clearing out some of the people on the payload. And doing a pretty efficient job at that for Blue Springs to be able to start moving that payload back. There is a lot of movement and attacking going on pretty quickly, with a Baptiste ult being placed in prep of firing through that field, especially for that increased damage, is going to be very useful. Unfortunately, Huntsman just getting rushed by the enemy Reinhardt. That's not normally a good sign to see. A Valkyrie from our Mercy, as she attempts to keep the team alive to the best of her ability, but unfortunately was shot down by 76 on the enemy side.
That could have gone better.
Blue Springs has about 2 minutes to keep Howell off the payload, but it does not look to be going too well for Blue Springs at this moment. There's consistent and fast rapid fire from Howell's side, as Howell's reached the final destination and getting the first 3 points.
Score 0-3. Switching sides.
Blue Springs will need to be able to go and capture the objective and escort it to its final destination in round 2, in hopes of getting to round 3, where it will be a much faster version of escort the payload. We can only hope that Blue Springs does their best here. We are looking at the team. We have Symmetra, Baptiste.
Why? Is Vishkar doing
Oh.
research on me or something?
Oh no, I am intrigued by how the sound moves behind my eyes when I listen.
Oh, that's because it's binaural.
Okay, sorry. Looking at it, we have Bastion, Symmetra, Baptiste,
This guy can do.
the Lucio, and I believe Reinhardt. Yes.
Greetings.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attack commence.
Blue Springs is prepared and ready to get moving to that first objective, just as Francis Howell is prepared to go against them. These games Blue Springs needs to take seriously, especially for the fact that this is defining whether or not they get to state. You can see that they were taking advantage of this Metro teleport to get behind Francis and be able to move to the objective, although most of Blue Springs has been cleared out.
I claim the objective.
With Huntsman being on the objective, it is now his job to, in turn, take control of the point. Already we see Tilt taking advantage of going after the enemy Reinhardt, which seems to be a pretty effective and vital enemy against Blue Springs. Blue Springs is still getting close to fully getting control of that point. And now having unlocked the payload, it will be their job to reach that final destination just as Francis Howell did. We do have Lucio on the point, probably to incentivize that Blue Springs stays nearby to keep that payload moving. A lot of movement going on pretty quickly as Symmetra places up her wall to at least prevent Blue Springs from getting too much fire and attack than what they would really want. Unfortunately, though, pushing in too quickly to get eliminated by the Bastion. We do have a Bastion ult on our side, which unfortunately did not do much in this situation. Our support's being wiped out, leaving Huntsman near the payload. And placing his teleporter to help his team catch up to where he is at. Although pushing in directly. With a shatter from our Reinhardt, followed by a sound barrier. It has proven to be pretty effective for Blue Springs. Although, again, Huntsman is once more pushing in a little bit farther than he probably should be, especially since his tank was not directly with him as much just yet. Although, yes, it is Huntsman's job to do a lot of damage. Going through and pushing in so willingly like that is not a smart move. And now we have an enemy Bastion ult, which luckily didn't do much on Blue Springs' end. Still goes through and does his best to clear out most of Francis Howell. Blue Springs is now quickly moving that payload to its final destination. We can only hope that Francis Howell doesn't take advantage of how close their spawn point is to Blue Springs and moving the payload. It seems that we have a Junkrat on the enemy side, which can be a pain, especially in these areas of tight corners and walls. But Blue Springs is still consistently and quickly moving that payload. And it is reaching its destination with about 3 minutes to spare. Although the payload is contested, they are still managing to move it and reach there. A Wrecking Ball on the enemy side, but a Shatter to stun them. It's proven to be pretty effective, as the Wrecking Ball is pushing back, and they are reaching that final destination. They will be going on to round 3.
Score 3-3. Switching sides.
What I'm wondering is why they didn't take time to account. I mean, they do take into account to things like what percentage of the point you have completed, or how far you reach to the final destination for the payload on these maps. So I'm confused why they don't take time into accountability here, with the less time being the one that gets the win.
Hello. From imperfection, we build a new world.
Everyone ready?
Taking shape.
Looks like we have Symmetra, Bastion, Lucio, Reinhardt, and I believe Baptiste.
Tunes. Thank you, Music Man.
I don't need to repeat
Have you
what
all
the
seen
voice
what
lines are
this
saying.
guy can do?
Anyways, it looks like we do have Saucemaker taking advantage of these high points to try and clear out Francis Howell before they can reach the objective.
4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
Right away, we have a lot of action going on as they move in. With Francis Howell trying to take advantage of going through up that high ground that what they once saw in the past. I'm trying to get to Saucemaker since he is up there. As Huntsman placed down a teleporter to help Blue Springs get up and reach that objective. V point is contested currently. as Francis Howell manages to clear out a little bit of Blue Springs. And eventually fully managing to wipe them out as they are starting to gain control of the objective and will soon be moving it.
Objective lost. Stop the payload.
With the objective lost, Francis Howell has about 60 seconds to start moving that payload to its final destination, hopefully giving Blue Springs the advantage to move things through faster, but they were just facing a support wall from enemy Baptiste, and this is not looking good for Blue Springs, with the team being wiped out with 30 seconds remaining. Francis Howell will probably be able to stay on overtime as they escort the payload.
Amplification matrix almost done.
10 seconds.
With 10 seconds remaining, Francis Howell has yet to reach the final, checkpoint. And currently staying on overtime. Having people on that payload is going to be vital for Francis Howell at the moment. It will be, it is up to Blue Springs to clear them out, which they have, and managed to run out of overtime for Francis Howell. Round 3 complete.
Score 3-4.
And they will be switching sides to round 4. It will once again be Blue Springs' job to gain control of the objective and move it farther than Francis Howell did. And hopefully stay alive longer than Francis Howell has. This has been a neck-and-neck battle pretty easily for Blue Springs and Francis Howell. Them going through and acting quickly to just react to everyone else. We do... Did I hear a Widowmaker?
Did your bosses ever rebuild that favela? You know, the one that mysteriously burned down?
I am told it is on the backlog.
Funny how that sort of project always gets deprioritized.
Okay. Never mind, I did not hear Widowmaker. That was Symmetra. I'm going insane slowly. Anyways, we have the same team set up as last round. And they are moving in quickly to gain control of the objective. Francis Howell attempting to take advantage of the high ground. But Huntsman opening up the teleport to gain control and capture that objective pretty quickly on. A lot of action going on pretty quickly as Blue Springs struggles to keep Francis Howell off of them. Tiltman being basically last man standing and being wiped out pretty quickly. It is not a good look for Blue Springs. They need to be fast with getting control of this, especially since they don't have a lot of time here.
My ultimate is just getting Behold my tool. I am at the objective.
Once again, they are currently on the objective, thanks to the aid of Huntsman and his teleport. We do have an enemy Junkrat going in with a Riptire. Unfortunately, that only taking out Toasted Oreo, as the tank is taken down and the supports are going 1v1 with one of the tanks. This was not a good look for Blue Springs at the current moment. Blue Springs does not have a lot of time here, but they need to consistently move forward and get things going. I'm assuming they're waiting for Huntsman to set that teleport. This time on a different direction, trying to, in attempts, clear out Francis Howell, but the time has been pressured to get that objective first. lot has been going on at once that I am not able to fully keep track of. But Blue Springs has managed to get that payload. Well, captured the objective. They need to escort that payload farther than Francis Howell did within the next 30 seconds. It will be important to clear out Francis Howell now, or at least get them to draw back long enough for Blue Springs to rely on that overtime to keep that payload moving. This is I'm trying to figure out how to put this. With the payload contested currently on overtime, we have a Lucio ult in attempts to keep everyone alive. As Blue Springs is managing to push Francis Howell back, relying strictly on that overtime to do their best to keep things moving. Managing to clear out Francis Howell, they are on that overtime, but they are also closely reaching that final destination for them.
Payload is approaching its destination.
Blue Springs having reached that final destination, we have officially gained victory over map 2. A close game for sure.
Play of the game.
Enemy Bastion getting play of the game. This was a pretty good wipeout on Bastion's side, honestly. All right, we will see you all in a minute.
side lane, missing exits, I'm glued to the pavement. Between the lines, I'll keep my gaze straight ahead as the last stop flies by. No more waiting for the gun to fire. No more walking through revolving doors. I've gone around once, and I don't need to go around anymore. It's time to break away. Forget your sober case. Stop dwelling on empty words. Stop stalling in the doorway. Cancel the cruise control. Switch it in the manual. Don't you wanna feel right again? Don't you wanna feel whole? Don't you wanna feel? Full steam through the setbacks.
Hello and welcome back, everyone. We are on map 3 of 5. Blue Springs High School versus Francis Howell Central. We are on Route 66. That is an escort the payload map. We have Sigma, Baptiste, Mercy, Sojourn, and 76.
Plan to win.
Currently, Blue Springs will be on the defense to prevent Francis Howell from getting and moving that payload to its final destination.
Over there.
Still boosting you.
Over there.
5, 4,
Good to see you.
3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming. Stop the payload.
Enemy here.
Seems Francis Howell is attempting to move in from the side to go through and gain some betterment over Blue Springs. We do see Huntsman taking advantage of that cover that the billboard gives him. But all of it currently is them taking control over the height of the point and that wall. I will say it is interesting to pair fast-firing characters such as 76 and Sojourn with a slower attacking tank. Probably to make up and clear in for what Sigma cannot do himself personally.
Good to see you.
We have more movement coming in quickly. As we do have a Sigma ult, although being canceled out by an enemy Lucio ult. We do have the ultimate, I believe, from our Sojourn. Going through and doing their best to railgun basically everyone. Blue Springs now managing to clear out that objective.
Thanks.
Mercy reviving 76 to prevent that walk from the check
Good to see you. Hey.
healing area to the final to where they're at currently. I am stumbling over my words. I'm sorry, everyone. Okay, currently we are moving quickly as Symmetra has basically allowed Francis Howell to get up on that high ground that Blue Springs was using to their advantage. Blue Springs, though, is doing their best to keep things under control and stay calm in this situation. With our Mercy revving Huntsman and keeping things moving quickly. After a bit of a setback, Blue Springs did manage to clear out that payload once again.
Like new again.
Hello. Good to see you. Hello. Hey. Not good to see you.
Actuating the barrier.
A a Bastion ult from what sounds like to be the enemy side. Mercy is ready with her Valkyrie at any moment. As we are getting closer to Sigma's ultimate as well. We have about 60 seconds remaining, and Francis Howell has yet to reach that first destination. Blue Springs is staying confident and managing to push Francis Howell back to their spawn.
Enemy vector calculated.
A lot of movement is going quickly with 30 seconds remaining.
Just as predicted. Keep them off a little longer.
Blue Springs is in the final stretch here. And if they manage to keep not only Francis Howell off of that payload long enough to get farther than the first objective, they will at least not... You know what? My words aren't working. We're not going to worry about them. We have a Sigma ultimate, although canceled by a enemy Lucio ult. They are on overtime. Blue Springs needs to clear them off that payload, and quickly. Blue Springs has been proven to be pretty consistent with this playstyle, but most of the team was just cleared off from that moment. They have Francis Howell has reached that first objective. Blue Springs now has 2 minutes on the clock to prevent them from reaching the second and final destination.
That's the stuff. Hello. Good to see you.
Francis Howell not wasting any of this time to keep things moving with the payload. As our 76 moves in to peek out and take a little bit of damage to Francis Howell. Currently things are moving in pretty quickly with 76 coming in from behind to take out enemy sides. Blue Springs quickly managing to start clearing out the enemy team, leaving just the tank left standing and doing their best to retreat back. Unfortunately, Blue Springs was not going to let that play a part of the calculations.
Let me show you. No.
Hello.
The payload is starting to move back as Francis Howell comes in again in attempts to get control over the payload once more. With about 60 seconds remaining, a Symmetra turret to try and clear out where some of the other teammates are. A Sigma ult once again being canceled by a Lucio ult. A lot is going on pretty quickly. I'm pretty sure both of Blue Springs healers has been wiped out with 30 seconds remaining. Yep. They are moving quickly, though, to reach the rest of this group. And managing to not only get there in time, but to be able to support the team. Our Mercy ulting to keep the team alive, at least long enough to continue pushing forward. We have 10 seconds remaining on Blue Springs' side. As Francis Howell is managing to reach that second checkpoint. Oh, overtime not going well for Blue Springs end, but just as much not going well for Francis Howell. It does not look good for Blue Springs, as Francis Howell has managed to reach that second objective, getting a little bit more time and just enough time to attempt to go for the final destination. We have switched from Sigma to Zarya. It sounds like we also have switched from Mercy to Lucio and Sojourn, I believe, to Baptiste. Not Baptiste, Bastion. We have a minute left, and Francis Howell is about halfway to that final destination. Things are moving quickly though. 76 getting sneaked up behind from another 76. They're trying to count. A lot of things is moving on quickly. Most of Blue Springs being wiped out fast. Blue Springs not being given enough time to reach that final destination. Coming in with a wrecking ball from Tiltman to do their best to basically lay on the payload, but with 10 seconds remaining, Blue Springs was not able to clear out that point.
Score 0-3. Switching sides.
Will now be Blue Springs' turn to reach that final destination on that payload and then potentially move on to round 3. I have done a lot of talking today. Anyways, I hope you all are having a great afternoon, especially as we are sitting here and watching these two teams do their best to go through and get a guaranteed spot into the state games. This is for bracket 2 of the state games, and these games are deciding on whether or not if Blue Springs will be able to reach it. It looks like we have a Genji, Cassidy. I think I see a Junker Queen. Not Mercy. Lucio and Kiriko.
They have this coming, so let's give it to them.
Blue Springs is preparing to attack and move that payload. Oh, it looks like our Junker Queen switched to Zarya. Honestly, not a bad choice in this situation.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Having that high beam attack, especially after taking up some damage, that's going to be very useful for Zarya. We can see Howell taking advantage of the high ground that Blue Springs took advantage in the first round. You can see that Huntsman peeking in one behind the corner to try and attack Francis Howell. Although currently at a lower HP than what is smart, Blue Springs is drawing back just a little bit to keep things moving. It is smart to know when to draw back and when to attack, and Blue Springs has been getting better at knowing when to do that. Our Zarya coming in from behind on Francis Howell's end and going through and doing their best to wipe out the enemy team. But unfortunately, with it just being Till at that moment, it was not proven to be very effective. Although it did take out a chunk of Francis Howell's team, it did not do much. With a Kitsune gate open for not Francis Howell, for Blue Springs, we have managed to reach that first checkpoint.
The payload has reached the checkpoint.
Right away, we have a lot of action coming in quickly. We can see that a Deadeye is ready from Cassidy. I cannot tell if Genji is trying to flank or not, but it seems that he is attempting to move with Kiriko. I hear a enemy Bastion ult with a Dragon Blade from Genji. Timed around with a Deadeye and a Visor from 76. Taking out both of Blue Springs supports. That is a sticky situation Blue Springs does not want to be in. And we especially, with We now have our supports managing to reach and keep things moving. But Blue Springs needs to be on that payload to keep things going if they want to get anything done. Seems that our Zarya is switching, and along with our Lucio. Oh, Diva and Mercy. Honestly, having Diva on this map isn't going to be such a bad idea, especially with the higher up spots and how quickly Diva can move. Having that is going to be useful. It also looks like we have a Cassidy swap to Echo. Echo is very good for flex characters, especially when she is able to go and quickly take advantage of another enemy teammate.
The payload movie again.
Things are going quickly once again. With a Kitsune rush on our side. Loose and a shatter on from enemy Rhine. Things are moving quickly, but Blue Springs is managing to work and continue to basically push things out with oh, that does not look good for Blue Springs. Although things were turning around quickly, there was a complete wipeout on Blue Springs' end with about a minute, well, honestly 2 minutes remaining. We do have duplication ready at any moment for our Echo, along with, I believe, a bomb from Diva. Valkyrie almost ready and Dragon Blade ready as well. Oh, we do not have a bomb from Diva, my bad. But there is a bombing from the enemy Bastion. But our Mercy has chosen to go Valkyrie for this. Around just at the time as an enemy Lucio did ult. Things are moving quickly, but Blue Springs is managing to keep themselves together enough to start wiping out Francis. Blue Springs has about a minute remaining to get that payload onto that second checkpoint before things turn, before they are put onto overtime. We do have Genji pushing into solo against the 76, which I'm not sure if that is entirely a good idea, especially since he did not have his supports to back him up in that moment. Although luckily our Mercy did catch him in time to revive him. There is a lot of action going on quickly, with a Diva bomb being placed, but unfortunately it was blocked by the Reinhardt shield. Blue Springs is drawing back just enough to regroup with their allies, as we've swapped from Diva to Junker Queen and Mercy to Lucio. It also sounds like we have a 76 back from Echo. We did get a shatter from enemy Reinhardt, charging into our Lucio and taking her out. But we have things moving still with 60 seconds remaining, someone on the payload. And a Kitsune rush on our side. There is, though, an enemy, a rally to me from enemy Bridget. Or Brigitte, sorry. I know a friend that would get mad at me for saying that. A lot is going on quickly, but Blue Springs has managed to wipe out Francis, as they have about 20 seconds remaining to continue escorting that payload. If Blue Springs is not careful, they will be put on overtime as that payload stays contested. With Junker Queen using their so much is going on at once. It is hard to keep track of. We're coming in to see a Dragon Blade taking out a ulting Bastion. As they're starting to clear out Francis. Being on overtime, they are just barely away from that final destination. It looks like we will quickly, though, from this, be deciding whether or not we go on to a round 3 or not. There's so much going on at once. It has consistently been hard to keep track of. But Blue Springs is staying on their game to keep things moving no matter how fast of opponents Francis Howell chooses. Reaching that final destination, we will be moving on to round 3.
Score 3-3.
Round 3 will be the deciding factor on whether or not Blue Springs wins this map or not. I'm sorry, I don't have much to talk about, everyone. Blue Springs preparing to attack and escort the payload. Looks like we have a similar team to last time
Stay inside.
with Lucio, Kiriko, Junker Queen, Genji, and Soldier 76.
Is this one a scrap or a heist? I wasn't listening.
Sorry, I meant to press space. Or there.
Won't even know what happened.
Blue Springs is prepared to keep moving, especially with the short amount of time that they've got to escort that payload.
Payload is Oscar Mike.
Smash some heads.
Right away, we are hearing and now seeing quickly a lot of action.
What's up?
Blue Springs realizing it is probably going to be smarter to be farther back, especially with the enemy team having that high ground. 30 seconds remaining. They need to keep this payload moving to that first objective. A lot is going on quickly at once. They need to keep things moving.
Push the attack now. We're gonna lose.
Blue Springs managing to clear out Francis Howell and moving the payload to that first checkpoint, currently on overtime though. There is sounds of enemy teams approaching, and they have reached that checkpoint, but they are still on that overtime. Francis Howell, though, has set up a main wall to keep that payload from moving. So much is going on at once. It is hard to keep track. With Blue Springs going through and clearing out Francis Howell as they go. The main wall effectively blocking off their Orisa from basically moving away from our Junker Queen. We are still on overtime, but we are halfway to that second objective. Blue Springs is keeping an eye ready for when Francis Howell will show up again. It being oddly quiet until just about now, with that main wall doing its best to keep everyone alive, but they are reaching that second objective. A lot is going on at once. But Blue Springs managing to keep things moving and keeping everyone alive. But there is a Mei ultimate which has kept things hard. Round 3 being complete with Blue Springs now managing to get to about the first objective.
Switching sides.
We will be switching sides now. It is up to Blue Springs to keep everyone from getting to that destination.
Hey,
Another day, another
good to
battlefield.
see you. Hey, hello.
Angela, I met someone the other day who I think is just your type. Handsome, kind, several doctorates.
I'm afraid there's someone else I have my eye on.
Oh, anyone I know?
Well, with any luck, you'll find out soon enough.
All right, it looks like we have a similar team comp setup as we did last time. At least last time we were on the defense.
World out there.
With Soldier Sojourn,
Watch here.
76. Nope, that Soldier is I'm stumbling over my words. I'm sorry, everyone. We got Mercy Sojourn,
Stop the payload.
76, Baptiste,
60 seconds.
and Sigma. A lot of action is quickly going on as Blue Springs is taking advantage of that high ground to keep Francis Howell from getting too close. This is a very good and consistent defense team for Route 66 for Blue Springs. So it is no surprise that they will default to what they know works best for them. With 30 seconds remaining, Blue Springs needs to clear out Francis Howell and keep them away. Blue Springs is, though, managing to slowly pick off at Francis Howell and doing a good job at that with 10 seconds remaining.
Stand a chance. Dodge this.
Blue Springs is looking at this hopefully, as we are now currently on overtime for Francis Howell. They need to keep things moving. Francis Howell either needs to keep things moving or Blue Springs needs to keep them off around halfway to overtime with ball being put onto the payload. It is basically managing to keep things at overtime for a while. A Sigma ultimate managing to pull people off the payload. This is a win for Blue Springs, having won this game. This has been a difficult game for Blue Springs. At least a difficult match in general. Being neck and neck with Blue Springs, with neck and neck with Francis Howell. We have now gone and seen Huntsman go through with his ultimate. And we will see you all next time.